Welcome students. Today we will discuss about Java exceptions. What is exception? An exception is a problem that arises during the execution of a program. When an execution occurs, the normal flow of the program is disrupted and the program or application terminates abnormally, which is not recommended. Therefore, these exceptions are to be handled. So anyhow, uh, we made some kind of framework through which we can handle this abnormal termination, because abnormal termination causes the system clashes. So Java exception is one of the module of Java through which we can handle this odd situation. An exception can occur for many different reasons. A user has entered an invalid data. A file that needs to be opened cannot be found. A network connection has been lost in the middle of the communication, or the JVM has run out of memory. Or you may say that a user wants to divide a number by 0. So when a number is divided by 0 by mathematics, it is called the infinity. The result is infinity. And we use a particular sign for that. But in computer, what will be the result here? So this is the odd situation. So it is infinite computation divided by 0. So that is the exception. Some of these exceptions are caused by user error, other by programmer error, and others by physical resources. Now, based on these, we have 3 categories of exception. Number 1, checked exception. Very, very important. It is every now and then appear in your mock-out semester examination. Checked exception. A checked exception is an exception that is checked by the compiler at compile time. These are also called compile time exceptions. These exceptions cannot simply be ignored. The programmer should take care of these exceptions. For example, look at this. Look at this code. If we use file reader class in the program to read data from a file, if the file specified does not exist, then file not found exception occurs. Look at this. Public class file not found demo, public static void main, public file equals to new file. Then we write the path of that file where it resides, but physically or actually it does not exist. At that particular time, a file not found exception occurs. Look at this output. Error message is dead, and read that error message. File not found exception must be caught or declared to be thrown. So that is. Now another type of exception is called unchecked exception. An unchecked exception is an exception that occurs at the time of execution. This is called the runtime exceptions. These include programming bugs such as logic errors or improper use of an API. Runtime exceptions are ignored at the time of compilation. For example, if we have declared an array of size 5 in your program and trying to call the 6th element of the array, then an array index out of bounds exception occurs. Look at the code and look at the output. It is self-explanatory. You can easily understand. Now, error. These are not exceptions at all, but problems that arise beyond the control of the user of the programmer. Errors are typically ignored in your code because you can rarely do anything about it. For example, if a stack overflow occurs, an error will arise. They are also ignored at the time of compilation. Now, exception hierarchy. Look at this. All exception classes are subtypes of the java.lang.exception class. The exception class is a subclass of the throwable class. other than the exception class, that is another subclass called error, which is derived from the throwable class. Errors are abnormal condition that happens in case of severe failure that are not handled by the Java programs. Example, JVM is out of memory. Very common example. Normally, programs cannot recover from that kind of error. The exception class has two main subclasses, IO exception class and runtime exception class. Very, very important. Look at this picture. Java.lang, then object, then throwable. It has two parts, errors and exception. And exceptions are of two types, runtime exceptions and other exceptions. Other exceptions means compile time exceptions. That is called the checked exceptions. Exception methods. Lots of exception methods are there. Public string get message, public throwable get cause, public string do string, and here are the functionalities of the method. That means what is actually done by this method is described here. For concatenated, public void print stack trace. So lots of methods are there. Now catching exceptions. A method catches an exception using a combination of try and catch keywords. A try catch block is placed around the code that might generate an exception. Code within a try catch block is referred to as protected code, and the syntax for using try catch looks like the following. Try, open brace, then we write the code. After that, closing the brace and catch statement begins. Catch within bracket exception E1, open brace, then the catch block begins, and after that we close the brace. Look at the example. Import java.io.star public class exception test public static void main string args try int a equal to new int2. It is an array of it is an integer array of size 2. System.out.println access elements 3. That means we want to access third element, which does not exist because the array length is 2, and we access an element which is beyond the range. Now we write catch array index out of bound exception and println exception through here. So the output produce this kind of message. Now multiple catch blocks. Look at the syntax. Try, then catch, exception E1, catch exception 2 E2, catch exception 3 E3, and so on. Look at the example. It's quite easy. I also, after this video lecture, we also send this PDF file as a note to you through student forum as well as in group mail. The DD sir of your department will forward my mail of this video lecture as well as notes. So my request to please follow the notes and follow that video lecture to get the concept of exception handling. And finally, the finally block. Very, very important finally block. Look at the syntax and look at the example. It's quite simple to understand. Okay, so I end up this video lecture here, and I also refer to follow these notes and also the books written by Balaguru. Hope you will understand, and thank you for